Re'eh, see, Deuteronomy chapter 11, verse 26. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. The blessing, if ye obey the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you this day, and the curse, if ye will not obey the commandments of the Lord your God, but turn out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other gods, which ye have not known. When the Lord thy God therefore hath brought thee into the land, whither thou goest to possess it, then thou shalt put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim, and the curse upon Mount Ebal. Are they not beyond Jordan, on that part where the sun goeth down in the land of the Canaanites, which dwell in the plain over against Gilgal, beside the grove of Moreh? For ye shall pass over Jordan, to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God giveth you, and ye shall possess it, and dwell therein. Take heed, therefore, that ye do all the commandments and the laws which I set before you this day. Deuteronomy chapter 12. These are the ordinances and the laws which ye shall observe and do in the land which the Lord God of thy fathers giveth thee to possess it, as long as ye live upon the earth. Ye shall utterly destroy all the places wherein the nations which ye shall possess serve their gods upon the high mountains, and upon the high hills, and under every green tree. Also ye shall overthrow their altars, and break down their pillars, and burn their groves with fire. Ye shall hew down the graven images of their gods, and abolish their names out of that place. Ye shall not do so unto the Lord your God, but ye shall seek the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of your tribe, to put his name there, and there to dwell, and thither shalt thou come. And ye shall bring thither your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, and your tithes, and the offering of your hands, and your vows, and your free offerings, and the firstborn of your kine and of your sheep. And there ye shall eat before the Lord your God, and ye shall rejoice in all that ye put your hand unto, both ye and your households, because the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. You shall not do after all these things that we do here this day, that is, every man whatsoever seemeth good unto him in his own eyes. For ye are not yet come to rest unto the inheritance which the Lord thy God giveth thee. But when ye go over Jordan, and dwell in the land which the Lord your God hath given you to inherit, when he hath given you rest from all your enemies round about, and ye dwell in safety, when there shall be a place which the Lord your God shall choose to cause his name to dwell there, thither shall ye bring all that I command you, your burnt offerings and your sacrifices, your tithes and your offering of your hands, and all your special vows which ye vow unto the Lord. And ye shall rejoice before the Lord your God, ye and your sons and your daughters, and your servants and your maidens, and the Levite that is within your gates, for he hath no part nor inheritance with you. Take heed that thou offer not thy burnt offerings in every place that thou seest, but in the place which the Lord shall choose in one of thy tribes, there thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, and there thou shalt do all that I command thee. Notwithstanding thou mayest kill and eat flesh in all thy gates, whatsoever thine heart desireth, according to the blessing of the Lord thy God which he hath given thee. Both the unclean and the clean may eat thereof, as of the roebuck and of the hart. Only ye shall not eat the blood, but pour it out upon the earth as water. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, nor of thine wine, nor of thine oil, nor the firstborn of thine kine, nor of thy sheep, neither any of thy vows which thou vowest, nor thy free offerings, nor the offering of thine hands. But thou shalt eat it before the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, thou and thy son and thy daughter, and thy servant and thy maid, and the Levite that is within thy gates. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God in all that thou puttest thine hand to. Beware that thou forsake not the Levite, as long as thou livest upon the earth. When the Lord thy God shall enlarge thy border, as he hath promised thee, thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thine heart longeth to eat flesh. Thou mayest eat flesh whatsoever thine heart desireth. If the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to put his name there be far from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy bullocks and of thy sheep, which the Lord hath given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat in thy gates, whatsoever thine heart desireth. But as the roebuck and the hart is eaten, so shalt thou eat them. Both the clean and the unclean shall eat of them alike. Only be sure that thou eat not the blood, for the blood is the life, and thou mayest not eat the life with the flesh. Therefore thou shalt not eat it, but pour it upon the earth as water. And thou shalt not eat it, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, when thou shalt do that which is right in the sight of the Lord. But thine holy things which thou hast, and thy vows, thou shalt take up, and come unto the place which the Lord shall choose. And thou shalt make thy burnt offerings of the flesh and of the blood upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and the blood of thine offerings shall be poured upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and thou shalt eat the flesh. Take heed and hear all these words which I command thee, that it may go well with thee, and with thy children after thee, forever, when thou doest that which is right and good in the sight of the Lord thy God. When the Lord thy God shall destroy the nations before thee, whither thou goest to possess them, and thou shalt possess them and dwell in their land, beware lest thou be taken in a snare after them, after that they be destroyed before thee, lest thou ask after their gods, saying, How did these nations serve their gods, that I may do so likewise? Thou shalt not do so unto the Lord thy God, for all abomination which the Lord hateth have they done unto their gods, for they have burned both their sons and their daughters with fire to their gods. Therefore whatsoever I command you, take heed you do it. Thou shalt put nothing thereto, nor take aught therefrom. Deuteronomy chapter 13. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams, and give thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign and the wonder which he hath told thee come to pass, saying, Let us go after other gods, which thou hast not known, and let us serve them, thou shalt not hearken unto the words of that prophet, or unto that dreamer of dreams. For the Lord your God proveth you, to know whether you love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. Ye shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him, and shall keep his commandments, and hearken unto his voice, and ye shall serve him, and cleave unto him. But that prophet or that dreamer of dreams, he shall be slain, because he hath spoken to turn you away from the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt, and delivered you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way, wherein the Lord thy God commanded thee to walk. So shalt thou take the evil away forth of the midst of thee. If thy brethren, the son of thy mother, or thine own son, or thy daughter, or the wife that lieth in thy bosom, or thy friend, which is as thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known, thou I say, nor thy fathers, any of the gods of the people which are round about you, near unto thee or far from thee, from the one end of the earth unto the other, thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hear him, neither shall thine eye pity him, nor show mercy, nor keep him secret. But thou shalt even kill him. Thine hand shall be first upon him, to put him to death, and then the hands of the people, that he die, because he hath gone about to thrust thee away from the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage, that all Israel may hear and fear, and do no more any such wickedness as this among you. If thou shalt hear say, concerning any of the cities, which the Lord thy God hath given thee to dwell in, wicked men are gone out from among you, and have drawn away the inhabitants of their city, saying, Let us go and serve other gods, which ye have not known. Then thou shalt seek and make the search, and inquire diligently. And if it be true, and the thing certain, that such abomination is wrought among you, thou shalt even slay the inhabitants of that city with the edge of the sword, destroy it utterly, and all that is therein, and the cattle thereof with the edge of the sword. And thou shalt gather all the spoil of it into the midst of the street thereof, and burn it with the fire of the city, and all the spoil thereof, every whit, unto the Lord thy God. And it shall be in heap forever, it shall not be built again. And there shall cleave nothing of that damned thing to thine hand, that the Lord may turn from the fierceness of his wrath, and show thee mercy, and have compassion on thee, and multiply thee as he hath sworn unto thy fathers. And thou shalt obey the voice of the Lord thy God, and keep all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that thou do that which is right in the eyes of the Lord thy God. Deuteronomy chapter 14. Ye are the children of the Lord your God. Ye shall not cut yourselves, nor make any baldness between your eyes for the dead, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. And the Lord hath chosen thee to be a precious people unto himself, above all the people that are upon the earth. Thou shalt eat no manner of abomination. These are the beasts which ye shall eat: the beef, the sheep, and the goat, the hart, and the roebuck, and the bugle, and the wild goat, and the unicorn, and the wild ox, and the chamois, and every beast that parteth the hoof, and cleaveth the cleft into two claws, and is of the beasts that cheweth the cud, that shall ye eat. But these shall ye not eat: of them that chew the cud, and of them that divide and cleave the hoof only, the camel, nor the hare, nor the coney, for they chew the cud, but divideth not the hoof. Therefore they shall be unclean to you. Also the swine, because he divideth the hoof, and cheweth not the cud, shall be unclean unto you. Ye shall not eat of their flesh, nor touch their dead carcasses. These shall ye eat: of all that are in the waters, all that have fins and scales shall ye eat. And whatsoever hath no fins or scales ye shall not eat, shall be unclean unto you. Of all clean birds ye shall eat, but these are they whereof ye shall not eat: the eagle, nor the goshawk, nor the osprey, nor the glede, nor the kite, nor the vulture after their kind, nor all kind of ravens, nor the ostrich, nor the night crow, nor the seamew, nor the hawk after her kind, neither the little owl, nor the great owl, nor the redshank, nor the pelican, nor the swan, nor the cormorant, the stork also, and the heron and his kind, nor the lapwing, nor the bat, and every creeping thing that flieth shall be unclean unto you. It shall not be eaten. But of all the clean fowls ye may eat. You shall eat of nothing that dieth alone, but thou shalt give it unto the stranger that is within thy gates, that he may eat it, for thou mayest sell it unto a stranger. For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt not seethe a kid in his mother's milk. Thou shalt give the tithe of all thy increase of thy seed that cometh forth of the field year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, to cause his name to dwell there, the tithe of the corn, of the wine, and of thine oil, and the firstborn of the kine and the sheep, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always. And if the way be too hard for thee, so that thou art not able to carry it, because the place is far from thee, where the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name, when the Lord thy God shall bless thee, then shalt thou make it in money, and take the money in thine hand, and go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, and thou shalt bestow the money for whatsoever thine heart desireth, whether it be ox, or sheep, or wine, or strong drink, or whatsoever thine heart desireth, and shalt eat it there before the Lord thy God, and rejoice, both thou and thine household. And the Levite that is within thy gates shalt thou not forsake. for he hath neither part nor inheritance with thee. At the end of 3 years thou shalt bring forth all the tithes of thine increase of the same year, and lay it up within thy gate. And the Levite shall come, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, and shall eat and be filled, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thine hand which thou doest. Deuteronomy chapter 15. At the term of 7 years thou shalt make a freedom, and this is the manner of the freedom. Every creditor shall quit the loan of his hand, which he hath lent to his neighbor. He shall not ask it again of his neighbor, nor of his brother, for the year of the Lord's freedom is proclaimed. Of a stranger thou mayest require it, but that which thou hast with thy brother thine hand shall remit, save when there shall be no poor with thee, for the Lord shall bless thee in the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee, for an inheritance to possess it, so that thou hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all these commandments which I command thee this day. For the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, as he hath promised thee. Thou shalt lend unto the many nations, but thou thyself shalt not borrow. And thou shalt reign over many nations, and they shall not reign over thee. If one of thy brethren with thee be poor within any of thy gates in thy land, which the Lord thy God giveth thee, thou shalt not harden thine heart, nor shut thine hand from thy poor brother, but thou shalt open thine hand unto him, and shalt lend him sufficient for his need which he hath. Beware that there be not a wicked thought in thine heart, to say, the 7th year, the year of freedom, is at hand. Therefore it grieved thee to look on thy poor brother, and thou givest him naught, and he cry unto the Lord against thee, so that sin be in thee, and thou shalt give him, and let it not grieve thine heart to give unto him. For because of this the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thy works, and in all that thou puttest thine hand to, because there shall be ever some poor in the land. Therefore I command thee, saying, Thou shalt open thine hand unto thy brother, to thy needy, and to the poor in thy land. If thy brother an Hebrew sell himself to thee, or to an Hebrewess, and serve thee 6 years, even in the 7th year thou shalt let him go free from thee. And when thou sendest him out free from thee, thou shalt not let him go away empty, but shalt give him a liberal reward of thy sheep, and of thy corn, and of thy wine. Thou shalt give him of that wherewith the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. And remember that thou wast a servant in the land of Egypt, and the Lord thy God delivered thee. Therefore I command thee this thing today. And if he say unto thee, I will not go away from thee, because he hath loved thee and thine house, and because it is well with thee, then thou shalt take an awl, and pierce his ear through against the door. And unto thy maid servant thou shalt do likewise. Let it not grieve thee when thou lettest him go out free from thee, for he hath served thee 6 years, which is the double worth of an hired servant. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all that thou doest. All the firstborn males that come out of thy cattle and of thy sheep thou shalt sanctify unto the Lord thy God. Thou shalt do no work with thy firstborn bullock, nor shear thy firstborn sheep. Thou shalt eat it before the Lord thy God year by year, in the place which the Lord shall choose, both thou and thine household. But if there be any blemish therein, as if it be lame or blind, or have any evil faults, thou shalt not offer it unto the Lord thy God, but shalt eat it within thy gates. The unclean and the clean shall eat it alike, as the roebuck and as the hart. Only thou shalt not eat the blood thereof, but pour it upon the ground as water. Deuteronomy chapter 16. Thou shalt keep the month of Abib. Thou shalt celebrate the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib the Lord thy God brought thee out of Egypt by night. Thou shalt therefore offer the Passover unto the Lord thy God of sheep and bullocks in the place where the Lord shall choose to cause his name to dwell. Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it, but 7 days thou shalt eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of tribulation. For thou camest out of the land of Egypt in haste, that thou mayest remember the day that thou camest out of the land of Egypt, all the days of thy life. And there shall be no leaven seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days long, neither shall there remain that night any of the flesh until the morning, which thou offerest the first day at even. Thou mayest not offer the Passover with any of the goats which the Lord thy God giveth thee, but in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name, thou shalt offer the Passover at even, about the going down of the sun, in the season that thou camest out of Egypt. And thou shalt roast and eat it in all the place which the Lord thy God shall choose, and shalt return on the morrow and go unto thy tents. 6 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread, and the 7th day shall be a solemn assembly to the Lord your God. Thou shalt do no work therein. 7 weeks shalt thou number unto thee, and shalt begin to number the 7 weeks, when thou beginnest to put the sickle to the corn. And thou shalt keep the feast of weeks unto the Lord thy God, even a free gift of thine hand, which thou shalt give unto the Lord thy God, as the Lord thy God hath blessed thee. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God, thou and thy son and thy daughter, and thy servant and thy maid, and the Levite that is within thy gates, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow that are among you, in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose to place his name there. And thou shalt remember that thou wast a servant in Egypt. Therefore thou shalt observe and do these ordinances. Thou shalt observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days, when thou hast gathered in thy corn and thy wine. And thou shalt rejoice in thy feast, thou and thy son and thy daughter, and thy servant and thy maid, and the Levite and the stranger and the fatherless, and the widow and they that are within thy gates. 7 days shalt thou keep a feast unto the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord shall choose. And the Lord thy God shall bless thee in all thine increase, and in all the works of thine hands. Thou shalt in any case be glad. 3 times in the year shall all the males appear before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose, in the feast of the unleavened bread, and in the feast of the weeks, and in the feast of the tabernacle. They shall not appear before the Lord empty. Every man shall give according to the gift in his hand, and according to the blessing of the Lord thy God, which he hath given thee.